So this practice, it's got several parts to it. But the first part is looking at how to get your diaphragm working really well. If your diaphragm is trapped by muscle tension, you can't possibly manage stress. You can't possibly look after yourself. You can't look after your nervous system. Okay? Life is going to be uncomfortable if the main breathing muscle of your body can't move properly. The diaphragm runs all the way around from these ribs here, underneath here, all the way around, and it has two legs that come down the spine. Those legs are called crura. And those actually join into the muscles that go down to the legs in a fascial continuity. But right now, we want to get this diaphragm working. So on the inhalation, when you breathe in through the nose, spread your nostrils, like we've done before with nasal training, nose breathing. Ideally, the belly comes out like a little balloon like this. Now the diaphragm, when it contracts, pulls down and pushes the belly out. If there's too much tension in the belly here because the muscles are held tight, either from too tight a posture or because of psychological tension in the belly, the diaphragm struggles to push down and the breath has to become up here. It becomes more what's called apical. It comes up this way. And that's going to tend to switch on the sympathetic nervous system and make life more stressful. So getting this breath down into the belly is really, really good. So breath in, slowly, feel the expansion of the belly muscles here. The breath isn't going down into the belly, it's coming into the bottom part of the lungs. The diaphragm's pushing down, and that pressure is pushing the tummy muscles out. And they're being pushed out on the inhale. And on the exhale, we get the elastic recoil of those muscles. So it's just inhale into the belly and exhale, elastic recoil. This is abdominal breathing, like we've done before, diaphragmatic abdominal breathing. So this is the base from which we're working. And what we're going to add in now is when we breathe in, big belly breath, front, side and back, you can feel the whole circumference of the abdomen opening here. Is on the exhale, we feel the passive part of the exhale, and then we squeeze these tummy muscles in as far as they'll go, all the way in towards the spine, as far as they'll go, and squeeze the breath out. That's going into what's called the expiratory reserve volume. And then we breathe in here. Release, and then breathe in, abdomen, the diaphragm's pushing down, tummy's pushing out. Relax is the first part of the exhale, and then squeeze the tummy muscles in to complete that active exhale. Inhale, relaxation, muscles release, diaphragm comes down, belly comes out. Okay. Now I want you to do that as slowly as you need to create awareness in this. There's no urgency. You don't have to speed up. A lot of the way this breath is taught in various places is that this is supposed to be done really fast. It's not. It's better done with awareness. We start with awareness, not speed. Velocity and quantity come after quality. So we want this breath. It doesn't matter how fast I can do it like this to my body. But that's because I practice it every day. So you might find that your inhale might take 6 seconds. And the exhale might take 6 or 7 or 8 seconds. But if you take your time with it, at the end of the breath, you'll feel relaxed and you'll feel good, you'll feel clear and you'll feel here. You won't feel fizzy and dizzy and slightly activated like you've had a really bad cup of coffee. Listen to your body. Listen to how it feels. And let's aim to do somewhere between 9 and 20 breaths like this, or even 30 breaths, but don't worry about doing more than 30. You really don't need to. 9 breaths is good. And what we're creating here is the optimal diaphragmatic excursion, getting the diaphragm all the way down on the inhale, and then exhale, it's lifting up, and that squeezing in of the tummy muscles here is pushing that diaphragm back up again. So getting this good range of movement of the diaphragm, this excursion rate of the diaphragm. And this is necessary to really feel that. I'm going to just do it now, stop talking for a second. Fantastic. So that's the first part of the practice. Now the second part of this practice, we're going to do this. So that's a breath hold. It's an exhalation breath hold, holding the breath out of the body at the end of an exhalation. And at the same time, what I'm doing here is squeezing my transverse abdominals in and opening up the external intercostals here like this. That's quite tricky to begin with, and you have to practice it. Okay? So, and the reason why it's tricky is because we only really use these muscles when we breathe in. So these are inhalatory muscles here. We breathe in when we're using them in running or exercising, something of that kind. So right now it's tricky to find them. So to find those muscles, what we're going to do here, put your hands on the ribs like this, and then breathe in, pressing the hands in, breathe in here. And what you're doing here, and we've talked about this before in terms of practicing, we're creating the sensory awareness so you can find the motor movement. That's how practices work. So we're going to get this movement here, breathing in here, pressing the hands in. Those are the muscles you're looking for between the ribs here. And then exhale. Squeeze in. That's on an in-breath, but we're going to try and find them on a held-out out-breath. So first cultivate the sensory awareness. One more time. Now breathe out. Squeeze the tummy muscles in. Squeeze the pelvic floor in and up as well. And then from there, see if you can find these intercostal muscles between the ribs like this. Now what that does is stretch out the diaphragm. It opens up all these structures. So if you've got any residual tension from trauma as a child and how you manage your breath to deal with stuff, or if it's from posture, or if it's from just a stressful work life or whatever, we can eliminate that. We can get rid of those tensions through this practice. And it's really useful to do this before you do other kinds of trauma release work. You might as well start with the body, start with soma, start with the flesh, and get that opened up here. Because it'll save you a lot of effort, and a lot of time, and a lot of pain and suffering if you start with the muscles. Times to pay attention and not do this. There are 2 times not to do this. One, if you're doing this work of squeezing in and up and opening like this, don't do it during menstruation time. So the first 3 days of the menstrual flow, just relax this practice. But you can do it every other day. Another time not to do it is pregnancy. If you know you're pregnant, don't do it during pregnancy and wait for a month or 2 after pregnancy to begin it again. Okay? So those 2 times not to do it. If you've had recent abdominal surgery, okay, pay attention. Think about what you're doing. Listen to your body. But other than that, you can do this every day. 3 or 4 rounds of morning will certainly sort you out. It will wake you up. Now, if you think about what we're doing here, we've got the inhale, we've got the exhale, and we're breathing more than the metabolic demand, more than your body needs to. So that means we are blowing carbon dioxide out of the blood. Right? So we're going to have to add in the breath hold, which is partly why we're doing this as well. So we're getting this diaphragmatic excursion. We're practicing that diaphragmatic excursion, getting a good rate of movement on the diaphragm. Transverse abdominals are getting stronger. The pelvic floor is being exercised. It's all good. The whole balloon of the belly is working really well here. And then we go into a breath hold. Hold the breath out. Squeeze the tummy muscles in. Open up these ribs. To add on to this, you can lengthen the back of the neck. Get a little length in the back of the neck. Drop the chin down. Tuck the chin up. It really helps to get this lift up through the system. So again, let's take a couple of breaths here, step by step. Breath in, breath out, all the way out. Find that diaphragmatic excursion. Inhale, exhale, all the way out. Inhale, exhale, all the way out, straight into the breath hold, pelvic floor in and up, tummy in and up. Open the ribs, lengthen the neck. Chin down and tuck. hold the breath out for as long as you can. Really hold the breath out. It's great to do this, okay? Hold it out, really go for it. What you're doing in that is you're doing two really, really crucial things. One, you're building up carbon dioxide in the blood after the, more rapid movement, the diaphragmatic excursion. And secondly, what you're doing is you're training your brainstem. And when we work with the brainstem, the ultimate fear for a land-breathing creature like we are, is asphyxiation. So we can relax into the brainstem. And when we can relax into this, we get a thing called hormesis, which is the resilience that is produced from working with a sublethal stressor. It's amazing to do this on a daily basis, because once you do this in the morning, everything else in life feels like a breeze. You've gone into the deepest fear that your body has. It really does. That is the deepest fear you can have. And then everything else feels relatively easy. All the rest of the complexities of life become more of a flow. I'll show you again. When we're doing breath holding like this, it has to be released intelligently. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, if we just hold the breath and then breathe in like this, we're breathing in from the panic of the brainstem. And that means that we're entraining panic into our life. Instead of calm and peace, and intelligence in our life, we're breathing in brainstem panic, and we're making that how we then live our life. So when we release the breath, we've got to do these three things. Three things. You ready? So you've got the breath hold. Number one, release the muscles. Number two, smile, big smile. It's top-down regulation. Prefrontal cortex down, telling the brainstem to calm down. And number three, consciously breathe in. Spread your nostrils. Consciously breathe in through the nostrils. Use your tongue if you need to. Press your tongue against the top of the mouth, just behind the top teeth. Consciously breathe in. Slowly. So the release of the breath hold looks like this. That's release, smile, conscious inhale. So that's a really good practice. It's also a good practice of centering. And if we're going to live a resilient life, then knowing our center, knowing kinesthetically, the kinesthetic knowledge of the center is a powerful thing to have, because that enables us to stay centered in amongst the whirlwind of life, the full catastrophe living, as Jon Kabat-Zinn calls it. It's a profound kinesthetic experience of center. So there's so much going on in this practice, so much goodness to reap from this practice. And I recommend practicing it every day. You practice in the morning, ideally before coffee, certainly before eating. So practice in the morning and get into the breath holding, get the hormesis from that, get this diaphragmatic excursion, and get this working for your life. I was going to show you another little practice just to finish this up, little taster. And this we're not teaching on this course, but some of my courses like the Mind Mastery course and stuff, you'll find this on there. That's a profound way of getting your enteric nervous system and the visceral fascia and all the organs in the belly both massaged and working well, and actually getting your diet working well for you, because you start to listen to your body. So that's another level of practice which you can take to at a later stage. So that's this practice for this time. So enjoy your practice. Make it work in your life. If you need to reach out and get help, you can always contact our team and you'll get some help if you need it.